Hello and welcome. I am Blast Shark, and this is a little project that I'm trying out. As you can see, we're in Minecraft. This is a private server that I'm hosting with some friends. We have already played for about a month, so there's a lot that's already been established, and I want to show off what I've been working on. I am out here in the tundra. I am building what I'm calling the Citadel. The building inspiration I have for the Citadel is kind of like the ziggurat of Ur mixed with St. Basil's Cathedral. It'll really come together once I start working on this next layer of it. Don't mind the sugarcane and netherwort that is out front. Those are just temporary. This is just the foundation for it so far. You can see there's a bit of a staircase going up to the top of the foundation. And you can also see where I've started building up in some blackstone, more staircases to go up to another level. That whole level where the blackstone is right now is going to be decorated to look a lot more ornate. But I have stopped working on that for the moment, and I'm starting to build up another portal in this foundation area here. And something I really like about the staircase up front is these arches that you see here are built in the shape that the towers are going to be topped with, kind of like the onion domes on the Cathedral of St. Basil. So right now, this is the way that I have just for building to get into the Citadel, into like the basement of it. This is not going to be final. Also, this wall here is 5 blocks thick. It is made with waterlogged stairs, and there's a layer of obsidian down the middle all the way around here. It took quite a while to build up, but it means that these first 5 blocks here are virtually impervious to anything. The only thing that could take them out is a wither. But you couldn't ram a flying machine into it, the obsidian would block it, a creeper explosion, it wouldn't affect these blocks here, and these ones are high enough that there's not really going to be a big creeper explosion that hurts them. And this is what it looks like on the inside. This is kind of my valuables chest. All of these blocks here, except for like on the bottom row, all of these are going to be used for decorating. Found a lodestone in a bash, very tiny concrete manufacturing place. There are some villagers up there that I've been doing some trading with. That's how I've got these enchantments. And that's why there's a bunch of cats. I'm going to have to experiment to get the cats out of here because I don't want a bunch of cats going around in the portal room. This big red concrete cylinder is the portal room, and likewise with entering the foundation, there's also just a very small tunnel that goes underneath. This is temporary. There is going to be a big fancy piston door that makes it look seamless. And this is the portal itself with the walls around it. And I really like the way that this looks. You can probably tell that one of my main points of inspiration for this room is Snoke's throne room in The Last Jedi. I really like how the solid red walls go up into the black concrete void of the ceiling. It is a gradual transition from red to pitch black. The perimeter of this is deep slate redstone ore with glow lichen on top of it. and then some red nether brick that goes all around. And the way that the piston door is going to work is there's going to be some observers that are looking at like this row of redstone ore, and then whenever you step on the redstone ore, you can see there's a block update. That's how the piston door is going to be activated, at least from inside the throne room. So there's not going to be any big buttons or switches, it's going to be a completely seamless hidden door. And that's why I want to make sure that all the cats aren't around in here, because if they were in here, they would just be like sprinting across these and activating the door, and then whenever you have these all lit up, then you can't just walk over it and have a block update. So that is a problem. I think if I get rid of most of the beds that I've been using for the villagers, then the cats won't start spawning anymore. Like, the cats will stop spawning, and then I can relocate them. Or, in some other means, have them be removed. My goal for today is to finish the interior of this room, and to do that, I just need to get the floors finished. It's going to take a lot of different resources, because it's going to be a very ornate thing. Also, a thing to note, this deep slate emerald ore is probably the rarest block you can find in the game. I don't think there's a rarer block than this, because it only spawns in the mountain, like the peaks biomes, and the lowest it will generate it at is, I think, Y-16. So they're pretty special blocks, and definitely within the theme of this place of just being outstandingly ornate and opulent. These gilded blackstone are also pretty rare, but not nearly as much as the emerald ore. And I think the green, like, green and red are contrasting colors, and I think that just that little splash of green in the middle of this very red room is very cool looking. So I went to make a run back to spawn, and I figured I would also show off some of what we've built around here. The cabin right behind me is our community center, and we've got a bunch of buildings all around it. Lots of livestock, lots of food. Over there you can see a kind of blackstone building. There's water elevators down to a zombie spawner down there that we use as an experience farm. There's that mossy cobblestone wizard tower that Scrimshaw built. And down here we have a boardwalk. This seed has a very large ocean that's just in the middle of it, and we can use boats to go around to any biome that we want, except for the Mushroom Island. That's the only one that isn't connected by this sea. There's also a world border that is 6,000 blocks wide, so there isn't actually a Mushroom Island on the server that we can find, but that's not really a problem in my opinion. If someone wants mycelium, then we can just spawn in a block of it and farm it out from that. I came over here to the community center because I need some ink. We don't have a squid farm, and I need black dye for the terracotta that I'm going to be using for the floor in the portal room. This here is our little farming valley, with a little silo that we keep a lot of food in. And then right over here, that's the only portal we have around spawn at the moment. Eventually, I'm sure that's going to get to looking a lot more pretty looking. I got a blade with looting 3 and smite 5, and so I decided looting 3 is good enough that I'll slap mending on it, and that'll be really good for whenever I eventually need to get some wither skeleton skulls. It's also useful when I'm hunting squid in a river. It would be nice to get a squid farm, but I don't want to build a farm for something every time that I need resources, or else I would only be spending my time playing this game building farms. And I want to build things. And I don't want to get burnt out building infrastructure. So I think it's fine for the moment to just be swimming around in the lake for about 20 minutes and grabbing squid. I think you should definitely be able to make black ink out of coal and or charcoal. Those, like, that's used as a black pigment in real life. I also think it would be really reasonable to, like, when you shear grass like this, you should be able to take that and just convert it into green dye, like you can with bone meal into white dye. My ideal Minecraft update would just be, like, as of now, would just be cleaning up a lot of crafting recipes and where there are holes in the game and inconsistencies, just polishing those out. Like, you don't even have to add any new biomes or anything, any new mobs. Just a cleanup that makes things more consistent and gives you a lot more options to build or to gather resources of that are currently pretty scarce, but shouldn't really be that scarce, honestly. Like saddles, I don't think there's a compelling reason that saddles are not craftable in vanilla Minecraft. I don't think there's a compelling reason that you can only get green dye by smelting a cactus, by cooking a cactus. Chainmail armor should be craftable, though chainmail is in a strange position because the recipe that is obvious is to just make it like iron armor, but instead use chains instead of ingots. But chains are more resource intensive than iron. They cost 2 extra nuggets per iron ingot. So you're going to be using more resources to make worse armor. So it is in a kind of a weird spot. I don't think that there needs to be like a whole different set of tools or anything. It's not really adding a new set of tools. It's just making something that's already in the game easier to access. And it's something that's already in the game that realistically shouldn't be hard to access. Like, it's very simple. It's intuitive. I have a stack of ink, so I'll call that good. There's really not a lot of nether infrastructure right now, so it's treacherous still. That is Night Raven's portal. He's got a base on top of a hill on the edge of the tundra. If he's on later, maybe I'll give you a tour of his happenings. Yes, tier. The server is on hard mode, so I definitely want to get... I'm interested in getting regeneration potions going into especially dangerous places. Okay, so I have some black stained terracotta that I'm going to use to decorate the outside of this here. And I have a pattern already figured out for it. That's incorrect. As you can see, this room, it's built around the portal, So it has even number on this wall, but an odd number on that wall. So it's more of an oval than a circle, but difference is small enough and the scale is large enough that it pretty much just looks circular. And I'm happy with how it looks. To do this, because I built this in a creative first, which I definitely recommend if you're going to do something that's this scale and have this level of detail to it. It's just a lot easier to make it in creative first and then get a reference photo up. Because if you build something and you don't like it, it's a lot easier to tear down in creative. $30 will be more than enough. And this makes the texture a little bit more obscured, and also the glow lichen just gives off a little bit of light. My favorite thing about this update, the 1.18 update, is that hostile mobs will only spawn in light level 0. If I was to build this in any other version, there would be mobs spawning all over the place because the light level is going to be very dark and gloomy in here. That's the thing that I'm most happy about with this update. These are the kind of design choices that I think are fine to do in survival, but like I don't want to build up a whole perimeter for this room and then figure out that I don't actually like how the size of it is, I don't like the way everything is placed, or that I just don't like the design at all, and then have to tear it all down in survival. That is not a very fun thing. Redstone ore on here. It's going to be down the center. I cleared out all of the dirt, and I am trying to figure out the design that I want to fill these quadrants. I think I'm going to have all the quadrants be identical. There is the opportunity, since there are 4 and it's like a wheel, that I could do 4 seasons kind of theme with it. So what I did just to start out is I'm just making this design that is already present here, and I'm taking it and I'm rotating it around this diamond ore block right here. I don't think that looks bad. Then these corners here can, I guess. Okay, yeah, because these aren't squares, these are 3 by 4. I don't like this. I don't like that this is a 3 by 4 here, and then this one is just bigger. It would be a 4 by 4, especially since all of these are 3 by 3s. Yeah, I don't like this. I'm gonna take this out, I'm gonna try something new. Okay, so I have ripped it all up. I've gone for something new. I took this lane here. I had it extend all the way out to the edge and make a break in the red nether brick lining that previously went all the way around the room. And there's like a cut off of the design here. Kind of how I made this extend over to this deep slate. I just extended it over there so that it would be more joined with the perimeter. And I also extended that red nether brick lining all the way down towards the portal and around here. And I've also lined that with some stairs. It'll set the portal more in frame. Like, it's already very obvious that this is the portal room. The portal is the most important thing about this place. And I think that every aspect of the room that I have should also follow that rule. And having all of the quadrants surrounding the portal being recessed, I think it will pull the room together a lot more than if it was just a flat plane. So now I have the idea that from, like, right about here in each of these quadrants, I want to have a pillar that also goes up into the void of the ceiling. And I want the pillars to be unique, kind of like that idea that I mentioned earlier, that there could be 4 seasons kind of theme to this. And part of the reason that I want to do this is because the room is completely symmetrical, and I don't intend to have a door on every side. I want to have it as like a subtle way that you can actually find your bearings. I think that the pillars they're going to have different ores designed in them, and they're going to be deep slate as well. Kind of like the portal. So the portal's got like the rarest of the ores. They might not look good, and if they don't look good, I'm just going to take them down. But I think it's worth trying. Hey, so this is the next day, and I just want to give you a heads up that in-game, it looks a lot darker in this room than what it looks like in the video. I guess the video processing software that I'm using is brightening it up automatically. So I'm making design choices based on a much darker looking room than what you're seeing in the video. I will try to, at the very end, give you a good screenshot of what the actual darkness of the room looks like. Okay, so I have this so far. I don't like the pillar. I do like the way that I got the floor to look. I went through a lot of iterations Uh, I think this just looks the cleanest. The pillar, it's just too thin. I tried putting glow lichen all along the edge there, but that's just way too much. Way too much texture on it, and also if I went with glow lichen all the way up, it would pull away from the effect of the void ceiling and everything just disappearing up into it. So what I'm going to do instead of this design, I'm going to work on a different pillar design, and it's going to look more similar to how the portal is. So it's going to be mostly this deep slate tile, and then the stairs will be nestling the different ores. In this case, it's lapis. I wanted to do lapis first because it's the one that has the most contrast to the rest of the room. But I think it does look good, and I think the others are going to look equally good. I hardly see what's going on. That does not read as a pillar at all. It's way too dark. So I might do some glow lichen on just the bottom. Okay, I think that looks better. I'm gonna try it with glow lichen on this layer too. I'm not sure if I actually like that. The problem is, well, there's more than one problem. I don't like the inconsistency of the glow lichen, not on all of them. And if I do put it on all of them, then it's going to be obvious that that top layer just ends, and it doesn't have the gradual shift. When I don't have the glow lichen on there, what if I just did it on the center? I think it looks better. I think I know what I need to do now. I need to make it so that the light source it's not the important block. It's not the themed block of the pillar. Okay, so I replaced the light source block on this pillar with a light source that's already been implemented in the build, so I'm not putting a new block in, because I don't want to add a new block, because that would just be busy. I think this is closer, but still not quite what I want, because this section right here, it's different. It's noticeably different than the next section above. I don't want it to be a different design halfway through. What I'm thinking is maybe I'll have just a section that is, like if I drop that down one block, and then have that section there go right above it, so there's just one layer of the redstone with glow lichen, and then there's the double stairs there on top of it, and then the rest of it all the way up is just the lapis. I think that's going to really pull it together and be closer to what I'm wanting with this design. That, I think, is the best design so far of what I'm looking for. There is the consideration that I could have just the lapis right there now, and that might look better actually. I don't think this looks bad. I think this is definitely the best design so far. The only issue that I can see with having the lapis there instead of the redstone is that I want all of the lapis on the pillar to look the same. But there's already lapis down here that looks different. Maybe it wouldn't actually be that bad of a deal. I think this is what I'm going to go with. I could also change this block out for lapis now, which I think would make more sense. So here is the portal room with all four pillars up. You'll see that I decided to go with the lapis blocks, nether gold ore, deep slate diamond ore and blocks of copper. There's one thing that I don't really like about this, and that is that the gold and diamond textures are really busy compared to the others. So I think I'm going to swap the position of the diamond and the copper, and that is going to kind of disperse the noise of the texture more evenly around the room. Currently, I have it set up so that the colors would be more spread out between the rooms. So you have the blue in one corner, and then the blue in the opposite color corner, and likewise with the warm colors, they're on opposite corners. I think it would be more visually pleasing to me if I had the busyness of the textures more dispersed, more so than the colors, and that also lets me have the benefit of there is a blue side of the room and there is a red side of the room as far as the pillars go. Like, the entire room is red. Like, there's no getting around that, and I like that. But I'm gonna at least swap these two pillars around and see how that looks. I think that's gonna look better. And here we are with that change, and I do think I like this a lot more than what I had before. I like that the really heavily textured ones are in opposite corners, and the more smoothly textured ones are in opposite corners. I think it helps break up the busyness quite a bit, and it doesn't draw your eye towards one side of the room more than the other. And it lets the portal still have, like, the spotlight of the room, I think. I also enjoy that it helps to ground you a bit more with your sense of direction in the room. I could probably fiddle around changing the blocks on the columns for the rest of the day, but I don't feel like doing that. I am happy with the way that this room has turned out. It's one of my more grand portal rooms that I've made. A couple of angles from the warm angle, then from this side. Alright, well, if you have any ideas for the Citadel, go ahead and leave a comment if you're looking forward to something. Let me know. If you have any suggestions, maybe you think there's a design that I overlooked, or if you have a solution for how the door is going, I'd definitely be interested in considering more suggestions for how to get in and out of this room. Because, I mean, there's going to be a whole citadel connected to this. This is just the basement.